Well, we're getting a little bit of light rain this morning. Gosh, it's so green here. This campground is a little overgrown. I think that's some of the first work that I'll be doing once I start officially working here. He's knocking back a lot of this grass at the campsites. Clear up around these picnic tables, around the fire rings, and the main areas in the campground. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stay in this spot. I got the approval that it's okay if this is the camp host spot. The other alternative would be site 1 up here, which actually is pretty nice as well. So I'm really not decided. I'm gonna try to make my decision. It's funny, I pushed for getting this spot, and now I'm gonna end up going in the one they wanted me originally. Not sure. Anyway, I'm getting wet. I'm gonna go inside. A beautiful morning though. Okay, so just had a productive little run here. Got 10 bundles of firewood. I'll be selling firewood here. And then got some equipment. These are great. This is like a weed whacker mower type thing. And then a weed whip, nice one. Some gas for that, some more cleaning supplies, all of my office paperwork stuff for collecting the monies, the campground fees, and selling firewood. And then I was able to get set up with some uniform shirts, the company logo on them, some trash bags too, and cans, this nice kind of windbreaker, hoodies and t-shirts and that. At some campgrounds, the campground host has a little shed. They don't have that here for me. There are a couple little storage lockers by the vault toilet for the cleaning supplies. So I'm gonna store the yard equipment in my cargo trailer there, and that's probably how we're gonna do it. So yeah, just getting settled in here. Tomorrow is the first official day I'll be working. It is the weekend and there's only one camper here, so it's gonna be a slow campground. That's kind of why I chose it. So it's just about keeping it nice and enjoying my time here. I mean, look at that view behind me. I love it here, just loving it. We need to bring all this grass back. They say 36 inches from any roadway. And then of course, cleaning up around the steps. This site isn't too bad up around the table. It's just dirt. But still, pretty much every site needs a good cleanup. Again, widen up these roads here, that grass out of the way. So yeah, grass is pretty tall right here. So I got plenty to keep me busy. And then in my site, the host site here is pretty big. I'll take care of that last. But that's where I'm gonna be. I decided to move. I was up at site 11, just over here. But I just kind of felt a little out of the way. And that is a nice site. Nothing worse than coming into a campground and the host has the best site. So I thought I'd post up front here. That's where I'm gonna be. And I'm finding, because we're at 9,000 feet, even though feel like I've been in elevation for a little bit, doing physical work, still not there yet. I think I need another good week to fully acclimate. I do about an hour's work and I am just done. This guy just came in with a trailer and just dropped it off. Interesting the things you see at a campground when you're here all the time. This is a very remote campground. I think people are just used to there not being a host here and kind of doing whatever they want. He just dropped it off. Good storage spot. Oh, now this is someone else's tag. Yeah, maybe it is his. Yeah. Paid for day use or something. I'll go check the box. Yeah, and then this actually seems to be the most popular site, number 9 here. I still don't have my line trimmer, my weed whacker. Waiting on line for that. So with the line trimmer mower, I can get a lot of this, but not a lot of the detail. Gosh, and this side over here really needs it. Actually, I think I'm gonna start with these two. They're just so overgrown. I don't even know where you're supposed to park here. These two sites here are not set up well, in my opinion. I believe for this site here, that fire pit, you can barely see, and the table, they go together, but then they have the fire pit from the neighboring site almost just as close to this table. You know, I guess they wanted it away from the trees for fire safety, but yeah, unless you're like together at these two sites, it's kind of awkward. I mean, I guess you'll be friends by the time you leave. So yeah, the parking area over here for this site's all overgrown, and then just the whole campsite here. So I think I'll take care of this first. That way it's a little bit more attractive if anyone comes in. It is a Monday. I don't project to have any campers here till the end of the week, which is amazing. I'm realizing just waking up here, it's like I have this whole campground to myself most of the time. It is really cool. I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. I'm enjoying myself so far. Well, I'm remembering how satisfying this kind of work is. It's what I enjoyed about doing this for so many years. Show up to a yard, and it looked one way, and when I left, it looked that much better. I really enjoyed that about that kind of work. So I'm getting my fill here, got this all cleaned up. This is totally self-managing, which I'm really enjoying. Like, I'm just here on my own. It'd be nice to get some more equipment, but I really like self-managing. No one's micromanaging me, telling me how this should be done. They said clean it up. They know my background with landscaping, so it's nice to be trusted, and no one's coming down here and checking on me and telling me to do this and that. So I just brought the rake down when I was done to clean up all the clippings, so it's nice and inviting for the next campers here. Yeah, I think this spot here, number 5, well, let's see, I'm in 1, and there's 2, 3, 4, so this is 5. Get the shade here if you were to set your tent up, and that's your parking area and fire ring. And then number 9's real popular. I'd say this next spot over here. I'm tempted to go clean up that one next because that one's been used the most since I've been here, that and number 9. But these just look the worst, so I'm going to go ahead and clean up this center section. Real happy with this. Cleaned up around the bear box and all around these rocks here. Got a good line away from the parking area for fire safety. So yeah, it'll be time to come into this next one here. I'll probably treat these 2 sites here. This really should be one big site in my opinion. Okay, so I'll get busy. This is the next site here. Okay, we are kicking butt today. I think I should call it quits though. I've been at it about 4 hours, and it's pretty warm in the sun. So I was able to get 1, 2, 3 campsites cleaned up here. Pretty much the biggest ones because they're in the end of the horseshoe, this loop here. I'll give you a look around, see what I did here. So now that I'm looking at this site 8, I'm kind of seeing more. Probably pull your vehicle in here and use this as a tent pad because that site's set way back in there. It's also at site 10, it's set back in these trees. That's a big long pull in. That's the other, I think, best spot in the campground. So yeah, I guess pull your car in here, set your tent up here or vice versa. Get your car up over there, put your tent here. So yeah, I have to get back in here, clean that out, the weed whacker when I get some line. Got all around the tables and bear boxes. Looks pretty back here. Tried to leave some colorful flowers on the border there. So we got a nice kind of curvy, defined line going along all these sites here. Oh, and I'm feeling it. That was a good push. Been at it for about 4 hours straight, just taking little 5-minute breaks. Feels good though. Looks a whole lot nicer, more inviting here. It was pretty wild. Yeah, I just kind of kept that line weaving along the back there all the way over. And I left this little strip to kind of divide the two sites there for whatever that's worth. Alright, good job of sun. Tempted to do one more over here. Feel like while I'm at it, these two big long pull-in ones, they get used enough to where they're really not overgrown that much. So if I got this one over here, we'd be pretty much all done. And this site 2 or whatever that is next to me, I don't think that gets used much. So yeah, I should just run that thing along the edges here. Robin flying by. This one will be so much easier with the line trimmer. That push thing going up and down these hills is kind of a pain, but I might just do it. Just clear the path to the bear box around the table and that, and then possible tent area here. Yeah, this site's kind of a long pull in here, step down, and then yeah, either pitch your tent. Perfect hammock spot between these aspens. And there's a little trail going down to the river. Beautiful campground. I love it here. The breeze and the shade feels so good. All right, I'll do one more. Okay, I think doing this last one I might have overdid it, but at least it's done. I'll be able to just kick back all day tomorrow. Let's see how it looks. The grass was really tall and thick in here. The equipment I have, I really need an actual mower. So I had to just go over this, basically just shredding the grass down. Give a little space around the bear can, or bear box. And then all up around this table was up high. So a little clearing there to get around. It's kind of a funky site. This is not really level at all for a tent. So I don't know, I guess I'd pitch mine up that way to have my feet down. But I tried to clear that out, rake it up best as possible. Raked around the fire pit. The rest of the table area. A nice site. Get up around the drive. That's it, I'm whooped. It is time to call it a day. So I thought I'd take a second and tell you a little bit more about the host position, the kind of hours I'm expected to work and pay, and just kind of the arrangements here. So you can see this is my site. Actually, that's my neighboring site. This is my site up here. I get a picnic bench, fire ring, and that up on the hill, and then my parking area is down here. This was by choice. I could have picked another site, but I just felt like this was the best site for a host here. Wildflowers are just going off right now. Just so many different types of flowers and color. So this is a primitive site as far as there's not any water. There we do have trash. We have a dumpster up front, and then we have the two side-by-side vault toilets. But other than that, that's it. The water does not work. There's an old faucet that was spring-fed that's been dry for many years. So as a host, they provide me with water. This is for cleaning. This is a 45-gallon tank that someone comes up and keeps topped off. So I can use this for cleaning, mopping the bathroom floors, my personal use for showering. I could drink it. It is city water. But I don't know about this tank condition, so if I drink any of that, it'll be filtered. And then of course I have my site, which is free. I get to stay here all summer. It's part of the deal. So I'll sit down and tell you a little bit more about the details of the job. Okay, so I thought I'd just take a few more minutes to tell you a little bit more about this camp hosting job position. It can vary. There's a lot of different situations how this works. You can work directly for the National Forest or Bureau of Land Management. That is not my situation. I am at a National Forest campground, but it is being managed by a private concessionaire. This has been happening since around the late 80s. These private concessionaires come in, they apply for a permit to be the managing company entity for the federal campground. They apply for a permit, they have to pay big money for it, and the way it works is once they have the permit and are in here managing the campgrounds, the concessionaire collects all the fees, and that's kept within that private company. Hopefully they can pull a profit. That's the idea, based on how much they paid for the permit from the National Forest in this case. So it's kind of a convoluted setup. It's a little controversial. I have mixed feelings on it. You guys know me, I don't like to pay for camping. Typically camp for free on public land. I rarely use campgrounds. So it's interesting being here and learning more about that relationship between these private concessionaires and like the National Forest. But anyway, the way my position works is I get paid a weekly hour allotment. I'm not really monitored. There's no clocking in, no clocking out. I have my site provided for free. I show that they provide me with water. This can vary from concessionaire to concessionaire and from campground to campground. It can really vary. Some positions have full hookups, some are remote. Depending on how big the campground is, the amount of duties that you will have more hours. Like we have a campground up the road, the host there is getting 35 hours a week, but there's many more sites, there's more yard work to do, there's more toilets to clean. So it's really based upon that. What I've heard, the feedback from a lot of people that I've met on the road that have done campground hosting that have had not a good experience, is they felt that they're not getting paid for the amount of work that they're doing. That weekly allotment of hours, they're feeling like to be able to do all the duties they're expected, it's taking more hours than that. And a lot of those folks I've met, they've quit shortly into the job because it just wasn't working out as far as how much they felt they were working. Here at my position, I feel like I'm getting a very good deal. I can do all of my duties in less than the hours I'm getting paid for. And then I'm also picking up other hours by going to other campgrounds and doing the yard work because we were having some problems with some of the hosts. One of the hosts is having trouble doing the work itself. And that's one of those situations, like I've heard, they showed up expecting to be able to handle it. It's way more work than they thought. They really want the hours, but they can't perform the work. So something's going to happen there. They're going to get their hours cut or maybe get fired. They're going to have to hire somebody else. We have another campground where the host actually passed away recently. They passed away on the job in their trailer at the campground. Fortunately, doing what they loved. This is a host that's been with the company for quite a few years and just loves his job, loves being a host, and passed away peacefully in his trailer doing what he loved. So it was kind of a shocker to me and the rest of the hosts here. So a lot of the extra work I'm picking up is going down to his campground. Because he's of course passed and taking care of the yard work till they fill that position. So there is opportunities for picking up hours in my situation. I do need to mention I did yard work. I had my own landscape maintenance business for 10 years. So yard work is my thing. I'm very fast and efficient. I'm very familiar with all the equipment out there. So I have a little bit of advantage to like probably most people that come into these positions, like the other host that's having trouble performing the work. They'd never really done yard work, so they weren't able to properly assess in their head if this job would be something they wanted. They just showed up, and if you're driving through multiple states to get to a job, it's probably best to have that all worked out and figured out before you show up. So that's where I've heard a lot of negativity and negative experiences with people that have tried campground hosting. A lot of other folks, it's worked out really good. There's just a lot of variation, and it's up to, the person inquiring about the job to really dig deep with the potential employee about your job description. You really, inquire, thoroughly about how much yard work is there, what's exactly expected, will there be proper equipment to be able to do that work, and there's a lot of room for error with these seasonal jobs because you're not there typically to kind of, go into the campground and check it out. If that is an option, I would recommend it. But like me, I was, a couple states away and just blindly took this job. I was able to find some photos and one video online of this campground, so I kind of got to see what it was. But you really got to take that upon yourself. And then once you're here, I feel like these campground host positions are very self-managing. My manager, district manager, he's got a bunch of other hosts to deal with, and his plate's pretty full. So me calling him and bugging him about every little thing, it's not going to work out well. So I've really just fell in and gotten comfortable to where I've just, any problem that arises, I figure it out on my own. We had some problems with the locks on the bathrooms here. I have, tools with me, so I was able to step up and take care of that, get the door to shut properly and lock. Campers were complaining about that, stuff like that, to where, there's a certain type of person to where they wouldn't be comfortable doing that type of stuff. So I feel like I'm a perfect fit for the position. So that's something to think about. I welcome any questions any of you have, and over the course of this summer, I'm going to continue to pump out videos and we'll address any of those questions, and of course share any more information that I learn about this whole campground hosting thing. But so far so good on my end. I appreciate y'all joining me. Hope the video was enjoyable and informational, and we'll be seeing you soon in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.